Okay, we're going to get started promptly at 1 today because we have a lot of ground to cover. Um, and as I think those who've been on these webinars in the past know, we try to keep them to 30 minutes. Today, we expect it to be closer to 45 with 3 speakers and a lot of great content. So the first thing I want to do is thank the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation for their support for these webinars, for all of the webinars. This is our 17th that we've done over the last year and a half, and we're really excited by the feedback and participation we've got. A couple of housekeeping notes. On the Ocean Project website, the recording for this webinar and a PDF file with all of the slides will be posted in the next few days. You can find it under the initiatives link and then click on the visitor engagement tab. Along the way, if you have questions or comments you want to add, please either use the question and A tab on the main toolbar or under the More tab on the main toolbar. There is a chat box that you can put in comments there as well. We'll be monitoring them and we'll answer the questions as they come in or at the very end. Just another couple quick things. The next of our first Friday, I should say I'm Tom Adams with the Ocean Project first. And the next of our first Friday webinar series will be on March 6th at the same time. My colleague, Douglas Meyer from the Ocean Project, will be discussing a new visitor engagement toolkit that we are just putting the finishing touches on, and we've worked with it in conjunction with the 6 aquariums that have partnered with us on some visitor engagement projects on site. And the idea is that these are the lessons we've learned, and we're going to make resources available for everybody if should they choose to do similar type of stuff. And then the last thing, at the very end of the presentation today will be a slide with everybody's contact information that's speaking today. Please feel free to screenshot it, and better yet, follow up with it with us on anything that is of interest to you. Okay, so just going to dive quickly into the agenda for today. I'll do a couple of quick things, and then I'll turn it over to our speakers, who are Rob Vernon from AZA, Katie Wood with the Earth Day Network, and Jeff Demain, our new World Oceans Day manager. And he'll talk about World Oceans Day, and then we'll we'll finish with answers to questions and a couple of quick closing remarks, and hopefully have you out of here in about 45 minutes. So want to quickly talk about, and hopefully it's less than 5 minutes. This was a very long, strange week in Washington. And I think that's probably the first of many more between now and the November 3rd election. We had a relatively bizarre State of the Union address and some associated theatrics, the impeachment vote, the effort to now purge Mitt Romney from the Republican Party, the president's victory lap, and what's now being, and the underground being called the beginning of revenge season of the White House towards those who either testified or participated in the impeachment process, managed it, and in Senator Romney's case, voted against the president. On top of that, we had the first of the primaries and caucuses this week. I guess Iowa is over, although I think it's inconclusive. So who knows if it really is. The season continues on Tuesday with New Hampshire, and in the next few weeks and the next month, an awful lot more in states near you and probably even some of your states. And that will govern, that will contribute to, what leads up to November 3rd and the politics and where the president goes with his campaign. So I want to talk about more important stuff to us. These four laws, and the last bullet point is a general area. I'm not an alarmist. I've been in Washington since 1987, worked on Capitol Hill for a number of national environmental groups. I don't like being Chicken Little and say the sky is falling, but I am alarmed. These 4 laws that are listed in here and the general principle of protecting public lands in our offshore waters are under attack like I've never seen them. In all of these areas, there are serious proposals from the administration to roll back the regulations and the rules that were implemented to administer these laws. And in each area, it could have a devastating effect. I don't even want to imagine what it is cumulatively. You can pretty much go to any conservation organization's website and find out more information. The one I just want to quickly point out, because it's not as well known, is the National Environmental Policy Act. That is the law that requires environmental impact statements if a project involving federal money or a federal agency is going to cause significant impact to the environment. And there's just what that does is it gets good decisions that aren't going to be expensive to fix later. And the effort to roll it back is just going to be open season for a lot of projects and allow people to cut corners. And it's sort of a non-sexy issue because it's really a regulatory process thing. But if you don't know much about it, I encourage you to look into it. Already industries, trade groups are running ads supporting what the administration's trying to do. So impeachment's over. The House is back to aggressively legislating. They want to be able to say we're not, we're done with impeachment, although they will be doing investigations and that'll come up. They released a big infrastructure package this week. It's got significant climate change provisions and mitigation provisions in it. Everything that they're doing from Homeland Security, national defense, wildlife protection, they are beginning to try to put climate change impact and mitigation into all of these laws. The House Natural Resources Committee, which has jurisdiction over public lands and a lot of other of these laws, is being particularly aggressive in this area. It's like on a weekly basis, they're moving stuff up. The last thing I want to talk about, we've talked about it a little bit before. There's something called the Forage Fish Conservation Act, which we are paying attention to at the Ocean Project. We're working with several aquariums to circulate a sign-on letter to members of Congress who've introduced the bill saying we support it. We hope to circulate it in the next week or two. If you want to make sure that you or your institution gets a copy, please feel free to reach out to me, and my contact information will be at the very end here. So really quickly, before I turn it over to Rob Vernon, we list these things on all of our webinars to give people a sense of what's going on in the calendar. Inside the box, I think, are two of the things we're going to talk about today, but along with AZA's Lobby Day and Congressional Reception and Capitol Hill Oceans Week, 4 great opportunities to engage your guests. And they come to you to have fun with family and friends, maybe learn a little bit. And this is a great opportunity for us to deliver some messages that could get them interested in helping protect the environment, either in their backyard or maybe getting interested in being a volunteer on some of these more national issues. So, please, I encourage everybody to come to town for particularly the AZA Lobby Day, but also Capitol Hill Oceans Week. As a Hill staffer, there's nothing like when constituents show up. We had to listen to you a lot more than just a regular lobbyist, even those who gave us money. So please take care of, if you can, take care of those, or take advantage of those opportunities. And if you can't, we have Earth Day and World Oceans Day, and then of course, Party for the Planet, which Rob's going to talk about, which is AZA's initiative to link and engage folks. For those of you who've not met Rob, he is AZA's main spokesperson. He's responsible for overseeing all communication functions, including media, internal communications, public opinion polling. He also leads the public engagement and action efforts of AZA's SAFE campaign. And it's great to have Rob here. And I'm going to, in a second, I'm going to take you off mute. I got to find you. Rob, here we go. I was on the wrong screen. Oh, you're up. Sorry, Rob. Just let me know when you want me to turn the slides.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Probably do this one.
Great. Great. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here today and wanted to talk to you guys about Party for the Planet. As you guys know, or you may be aware that for more than 20 years, we've been coming together to talk about Party for the Planet. It traditionally started out as a day to engage with members on Earth Day, and we've since expanded that to include the time frame from Earth Day to World Oceans Day, with Endangered Species Day sandwiched in the middle there. So it's about a 50-day stretch that we've really tried to motivate and move our members to action. We did notice that there was some declining participation in the effort, and so we rebranded last year in 2019 as part of the as a Party for the Planet Spring into Action effort, and it's been very exciting. Next slide. So last year was the first year, as I mentioned, of springing into action, and my colleagues Amy Rutherford and Heidi Ferris are as much to have deserved much of the credit for the success that I'm going to talk about here in a second. Those are my colleagues that work with me on the Party for the Planet effort. But as I mentioned, it's the time between Earth Day and World Oceans Day, and it's really been rebranded around inclusive family volunteer opportunities designed to help improve our planet. Next slide. So 2019 was our first year with the rebrand. We had over 120 AZA facilities registered to hold events. We were lucky enough and fortunate enough to receive some funding from Disney's World Conservation Fund, and we were able to give facilities 50 facilities grants to help enhance their events. We also had 6 signature cities that participated in larger scale events and really had some full media participation from ABC outlets and other larger activities, collateral and different materials made and everything. So it was really exciting, really great effort in 2019. And the next slide talks about our impact. So we had over 140 events, with some facilities even hosting 2. 6,500 volunteer hours, volunteers with over 16,000 hours, coastline cleaned up, pollinator-friendly seeds, plants, and trees taken care of, 40,000 of over 40,000 of those, 350 acres of habitat and gardens established, just really successful. And then also had a lot of partners, as you see there, partners for clean streams, working with our facilities and posting information about working with our AZA members. Next slide. So for this year, Party for the Planet 2020 is largely the same effort. We're still focusing on inclusive, family-friendly volunteer efforts. We're really hoping for more opportunities around collective action and people, giving people opportunities to take action away from the event. We're working on toolkits and resources from AZA will be available again for folks, and there will be grant opportunities, and we will be having a video contest again. Right now, we have about 100 members that have signed up to participate. Next slide. So our theme this year is focused on expanding, improving, and protecting healthy habitats. Again, with family-friendly volunteer opportunities are still the main pillar of the program, but we're really focusing on planting native and pollinator-friendly gardens, cleaning up and reducing plastic pollution in waterways and coastlines, and removing invasive species that may be threatening habitats and the survival of native species. We think these 3 goals really align really well with each of the days, Earth Day, Endangered Species Day, and World Oceans Day, and have great impact and can be talked about with each day. Next slide. In addition to this, we'll also be working on our annual effort to promote our SAFE program and how people can take collective action to save species. We'll be talking more about, as well as giving people the option to take action, again, away from the event. So this might include encouraging businesses to adopt sustainable practices, or contacting a government official on about legislation that protects healthy habitats, or possibly working within their community for an opportunity around larger scale action protecting native habitats. Next slide. So as I mentioned, we will have toolkits available again this year. We're really excited. We have some coasters that we're going to be giving out that you can then plant to turn into gardens. We're really excited about some of the other pieces of material that are in there from our friends at the National Wildlife Federation and the National Association of Environmental Educators. We're really excited about the efforts with that. We'll make available the link of where you AZA members can sign up for the kits. Next slide. We will also be having the video contest like we did last year. Last year we had people submit 60-second videos to talk about their event. And then we had a public voting, and then gave away two grants. So we'll be doing the same effort this year, and it will be, largely more centered around the volunteers that are helping to participate in the events versus the impact of the event themselves. So really helping to tell that story of how we're all taking action to help save the planet. Next slide. So as I mentioned, we're partnering with Earth Day Network, the National Wildlife Federation, and the North American Association of Environmental Education on our materials this year. And we're really excited about what we've been able to work with them through various memorandums of understanding, and excited to have them participate in our Party for the Planet effort this year. So that's it from me.
Yeah, great, thanks, Rob. And I think what's really neat about this is I just remember how, well, just from my time at Brookfield Zoo and now how differently I look at exhibits and stuff at zoos and aquariums. So much of this stuff in terms of, pollinator friendly gardens and, messaging on plastic pollution and invasive species is already on a lot of people's facilities on a daily basis. So it's just reinforcing that theme that's really important. So I think that's great. And as an old Hill guy, I always like, the facilitating visitors reaching out to members of our government officials. That's always a good thing. So thanks a lot. And if people have questions for Rob, again, use the Q&A function if you want to ask it now, or you'll be able to reach out to him later, or his colleagues at these addresses. So I'll leave that up there just for a second if you want to screenshot it. And again, thanks, Rob. Okay, so I want to now introduce Katie Wood, who is the Conservation and Biodiversity Manager at the Earth Day Network. Katie is an ecologist at heart. She runs the Conservation and Biodiversity programs for the Earth Day Network, has a master's degree in science from the University of Exeter in the UK, where she worked on the conservation of marine and terrestrial environments around the world. Near and dear to my South Florida upbringing, she also worked with Coral Reef Restoration Foundation in the Florida Keys, running programs to restore reef environments. So Katie, thanks a lot again for being here today. And you are now unmuted.
Thank you so much, Tom. It's really great to be a part of this. Thanks for putting all of this together, and hello everyone, and thanks for joining this. It's really exciting to be a part of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. I personally was not around for the very first one, but there are definitely people out there that have amazing stories about the 50th anniversary. So we are very much excited to talk with people and see how we can get them involved in this, the 50th anniversary. So every year Earth Day kind of assigns a different theme for the year. For 2020, this year, we are focusing on climate action, and we are trying to make this as open to anyone as possible. For us, this is a kind of pressing issue that is purely based on science, and we want to see people being educated or taking actual action in their communities to highlight changing climates that are occurring all over the world. And on my next slide, one of the first things that I want to talk about of how people can get involved with Earth Day and with, you know, very kind of poignant activities is teach-in. So a teach-in is kind of the foundation of Earth Day, actually. So back in 1970, it was actually advertised in the New York Times on January 18th, I believed, and we also just released a New York Times full page ad, so feel free to go check that out. But in that ad, we advertised Earth Day as a global teach-in. So we're heralding back this year to this kind of route to make sure that people are involved back in this original way. So a teach-in is a group or a community coming together to talk about environmental issues or a certain issue that you are passionate about. And that ends with a call to action of either going and hosting a cleanup or going out and learning more about your actual community environments. It could be pollinator garden, like Rob was talking about earlier. These are all kind of fantastic action items that we are really encouraging this year. These teach-ins can highlight a number of issues, and just to kind of spitball a few, one would be biodiversity loss, blue carbon, plastic pollution, or local climate change impacts. We have toolkits on our site in case anyone is more interested to figure out either how they could do a teach-in if they haven't done one before, or what kind of topics we at Earth Day are really trying to highlight this year. And the link for that is right there at the bottom of the slide.
And I should just let everybody know, there are going to be links for Katie's slides on every one of them. So be ready to screenshot them if you want to have immediate follow-up afterwards. Are you ready to turn another one?
Yes, definitely. Thanks for that, Tom. Another really great way to get involved with Earth Day this year is through the Great Global Cleanup. This is our really exciting event. We're working with Keep America Beautiful, World Cleanup Day, and a number of other partners on this largest coordinated environmental volunteering event in the world. It's going to be quite an interesting affair for sure, but we have a number of celebrities such as Zac Efron who have joined on, and it's really gaining traction. So we really encourage people to host cleanups at beaches, rivers, parks, community areas, and then go online onto our cleanup site, which is linked at the bottom, as Tom said, and make sure that you register those cleanups with us so that we can register your overall impact. This is really important to show a global collaboration. After all, we want to make sure that Earth Day is brought back to the people of the Earth, and not just, you know, America. And even though it may have started in America, we really want to bring everyone together for this Earth Day. You can go to the next one, Tom.
Okay, I'm going to invoke the moderator's prerogative to ask a question, though.
Go ahead.
For these cleanups, should they be inviting, I mean, obviously, you know, their friends and allies, but public officials as well?
Definitely. So it's actually been a really great collaboration between a number of different organizations that we've already had people list. So we've had citywide cleanups be registered on our site. You can check that out depending on what your city is. There might be a cleanup already happening near you that you can register to join. If there's not, then I highly encourage you to reach out to us, let us know that you'd like a cleanup in your city, and we may be able to further encourage city officials in your area to talk about that. We also, are working with a number of different nonprofit organizations and making sure that those nonprofits have the ability to get access to supplies, or how to even put it together with a toolkit to tell them how to get these cleanups going in their area if there's not one already.
That's
Yes.
great. I asked that because I've told this story before. A friend of mine who ran the Great Lakes Alliance invited a little known state senator in his first term to a cleanup. And that guy was Barack Obama. He became a Great Lakes champion. So you don't get that moonshot all the time, but there's a reason why you do that sort of stuff. Anyways, okay, here you go to the next.
Definitely. Thank you, Tom. So our next way to get involved, whether you are a organization or you're just looking to get some community members involved with Earth Day this year, is that we've also just launched Earth Challenge 2020. This is in collaboration with the State Department as well as the Wilson Center, and it is a citizen science campaign. There will be, I think, a total of 6 different widgets for this app. It's currently being produced, but we do have 2 modes or 2 widgets that are currently accessible for beta testing and will be widely accessible, I believe in mid-March is when it's finally being launched. We're going through some final testing with Apple at the moment, so it's very, very new and very, very exciting. The first mode is the plastic pollution mode, and this is for us to address, especially with or in conjunction with the Great Global Cleanup. The global cleanup is really great because it addresses immediate action that needs to be taken, actively cleaning up sites. But, so often we find that this can be a temporary solution, and people can go by a site that they cleaned up a week earlier and find that the trash has reappeared or the pollution has reappeared. So we are taking this to another level through our plastic pollution mode to address the kinds of plastics that are being found and where these are coming from, so that we can start to address how we stop that at the source. So this will be in conjunction with a number of scientists from the Wilson Center and from the State Department again, and this will be, again, available in March. The second widget that will be available in March is our air quality mode. And that does exactly as it says. You take a picture of the sky outside and it addresses the air quality within your area. So with this, we are trying to assess not just local air quality, but air quality around the world. So that will be available from places to Mumbai, to Miami, to Los Angeles and London. This is something that we're really trying to address, how we can work together to look at where air pollution is coming from and who's done what in terms of being successful at monitoring and addressing those. And again, we will have 4 more widgets coming in 2020. One that will address insect populations, water quality, local climate impacts, and food sustainability. And again, if you'd like any more information on that, you can visit the link at the bottom of the screen there to get more involved. And you can go to the next slide, Tom. Right, and then so my personal favorite campaign, because it's my campaign, is the Conservation and Biodiversity campaign. This year we have 10 species and ecosystems that we're going to focus on in 2020 to lead our conservation efforts and address ecological issues around the world. We have kind of assigned each species to a different month. So we've actually started this month with the North Atlantic right whale, which is very, very exciting for us. Karen, I just saw your question regarding cleanups. Are you collaborating with Literati and their location reporting app? I am not entirely sure, given that this is my colleague's campaign, but it's very possible. If you get in touch with me afterwards, I can put you in touch with my colleague or figure out the correct answer to that, and then let everyone else on the Zoom call know if everyone else is interested. And I'll continue on now. But so we are currently on our North Atlantic right whale campaign for February, which has been really great. We are partnering with whale and dolphin conservation to create education materials, as well as some cross promotion. And this is an initiative that we'll be doing. Oh, sorry, Tom, can you go back there? Perfect. And we'll be doing this across each species. So it's a lot of opportunity for aquariums, nonprofits, even community groups to get involved. If you see something on here and it has a similar issue to something that's going on in your local community, let me know about it. It's really great because I'm actually the conservation manager for this. So if this is something that you want to get more involved with, please do let me know. And again, I should probably mention, we're going to be working on 6 of these species with where they overlap with AZA, which is very, very exciting. And we're really pleased to be working with them. If you'd like more information about this campaign, you can also go to the link at the bottom. And then just one more slide, Tom. Lastly, I wanted to quickly address that you can register for events if you're hosting any on our site. We just brought this in this year, and it's very exciting because during the month of April, we get about 1 million hits on our website per day. And with that traffic, we are really trying to get people out on the streets or out in their communities to do something for Earth Day. So if you have an event, please do register. You can do that by clicking the link at the bottom and taking action now. And then I think I have one final slide actually, Tom.
There you go.
This is it. Yes, perfect. And so this is our current conservation and biodiversity partners. You can see that there's quite a few at the moment. And on the site, we actually have a place for people to come become a partner if that is what you're interested in. I regularly try to check in with people and see how their event planning is going, if they need ideas, if they need connections to other conservation members or even other cleanup partners, etc. Like Karen, you were saying, regarding the cleanups in Literati, that's something that we can kind of facilitate with our partners. So if you are interested in partnering, please do click the link at the bottom. And thank you again all for joining. And thanks again to the Ocean Project and Tom for putting this all together.
Thanks a bunch, Katie. That was awesome. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Demain, who is, I think, about 2 weeks on the job as World Oceans Day manager. And he has a background in business development and marketing as a marketing strategist, partnering with groups and individuals from nonprofits to corporate leaders to grow their ideas and to thoughtful successes, he says, although huge successes it should be, Jeff. He's worked globally with conservationists and researchers as well to advance their initiatives. And it is awesome to have him here, and welcome, Jeff.
All right, thank you so much. And it's great to be part of this 3 pillars of the amazing Party of the Planet, Earth Day, and then World Oceans Day. So happy to be here and talk with you today. And I wanted to start here with thanking all of the key partners that have made this possible. And one clarification, Tom, I started in early December. So.
Oh. 2 months, so, okay.
2 months, there we go. So, but yeah, looking across our partners, we're quite delighted in the partnerships and the sponsorships, and also the 107 AZA members that were in place in 2019. So it's a big shout out to all of you, and looking forward to the 2020. And we've been involved with the AZA since the early 2000s, so it's been a long and sustained partnership. So next slide. And so today, really, it's an early insight. It's embargoed until next week, but we are launching a new website. I'll give you a quick glimpse into that. And with that, we have new branding coming along, and that will be synced with the website. It's primarily a new logo and a set of assets associated to that. And then we do have a new conservation action focus being launched, what our campaign is for 2020. And you'll see how that has really grown upon the last few years' focus on the plastics. And again, really all of this is resources for everyone. The resources on the website, from the guides, the information, the events, all of that is available for free and available for all of the wonderful participants around the world. So the next slide. So the website will be launching towards the end of next week, is a place where you can also register your events and have people find your events, connect with your events. So a wonderful place for ocean-based events. Download the resources that are there, the collateral kits, the information kits, the how-to guides, all of that will be there. The new campaign collaterals will be there, and I'll talk about them in a minute, but those are campaign collaterals designed to be adaptable by zoos and aquariums. And finding connections, blog posts, site information that's there, areas that resonate with you, and how we can help you get connected to those areas. And then here you see on the bottom is the new World Oceans Day logo. So this logo, the resource guide, the branding guide, all of that will be available on the website for all to use. This logo will be incorporated into the new campaign, and this logo is for use, again, broadly. So the new platform and capabilities for zoos and aquariums will be launched next week. So we're quite excited, actually, by all of the development that has gone into this. And hopefully this is going to bring you wonderful resources, and we would love to get your feedback on how you find the usability and functionality of the site. Okay, Tom, next slide. So let's talk about a key item here, which is what is the conservation action focus? What is our focus area for 2020? And this is the concept of the marine protected areas with an initiative you may have heard of, the 30 by 30, protect 30% of the land and the seas, the water by the year 2030. And so what we're working on is a campaign that can go forward talking about marine protected areas or these sanctuaries in the 30 by 30 without being a deep dive into the science, right? With really capturing people quickly and getting them to participate. So for example, it's not the exclusive focus that we have, but if you look at petition signing in partnership with National Geographic and the Campaign for Nature and Ocean Unite, the petition signing is key. It's not the complete solution set. There are many other resources that will go with that, but we'll have that in place. And you can see an example of the campaign on the right-hand side here, where you can put in here a specific species. I'll talk about that in a moment. And we can put in here a specific call to action and partner logos. Now, we will amplify this across all of our social media channels, and we'll do this with our partners. And all of these resources will be available for you. So it's really our view of, again, together we can, which is key to all of our thinking. And the culture of World Oceans Day is that together we can conservation action focus. So this is really key for us in 2020 and key for us to partner with you on. So next slide, Tom. So looking at the campaign in a little more detail, you can see we have a "you can help" message, right? And a "together you can" message in there with a strong image, right? All around creating an emotional connection. And the wording on the call to action, of course, will be adapted, but this is the central part of the theme here. And we will provide an initial set of plants and animals in the images here that will be based on the AZA safe list related to the ocean. So focused on that. And then what a zoo or aquarium can do with the resources we'll provide is replace the image and the name with one that your particular focus will be on. Now, if that's a safe-based focus, we will have that collateral. If it is another ocean-related plant or animal that is your particular focus, that can be changed. So you can replace the image and you can replace the name. So we really make the campaign focused and have a central theme, but it's adaptable. And the idea here is simple, straightforward, emotional connection. And so we'll have these collaterals ready for you in digital and also print form, so ready to print poster. And then guidelines around the theme and the usage of the campaign. And in the end, we really do want this to drive action, right? And raise the awareness and the action needed on these protected areas and the 30 by 30 campaign. Okay, Tom, next slide. So along with the campaign, what we have is this concept, and I would really love your feedback on the use, the adaptability, the messaging, but rewarding action, right? And it really came off of this I voted type of reward for action, which was providing a positive affirmation. If somebody really does take a step, they take a step of action of a petition or an event, right? Or an educational endeavor on the marine protected areas. And what happens, and we'll have this on our website, at least our planning is to provide this to an individual once they take action. And then now this can be shared on social media and amplified through those channels. And it's, again, straightforward. It's that image of the animal that they're particularly interested in. And then I took action to protect their home. So, the MPA theme is the concept of a home, that there are species, individual species that people are interested in and absolutely need protection. But if that home that they exist in, right, or the ecosystem they exist in isn't protected, then we're not thinking holistically. So home is the key word for us, and hopefully for the AZA Partner Network in raising that awareness. So this is an area, this rewarding action, the I took action sticker is one where we would really love to hear your thoughts and how this could work for you. So next slide, Tom. So one of the things I really wanted to focus on here was how do we engage, how do we amplify, and how do we carry the partnership forward? And key for us is youth engagement, right? So we have our Youth Advisory Council, the 22 countries with 25 leaders in there, helping to shape World Oceans Day, carrying the message forward, working locally, working across the globe. We're engaged with youth in 140 countries, over 2,000 significant events last year. And this is really designed for engagement of that key audience, right? So, we will continue to drive this effort forward. We'll continue to share any insights we have on how to build the youth networks. And fundamentally, we're very thankful for all of the involvement, support, and sponsorship through the AZA partners for making this possible. And just wanted to reinforce this will be key in World Oceans Day 2020 of making the results very successful. Okay. And finally, a goal that we have for you AZA members, the zoos and aquariums in partnership with World Oceans Day is, you have been key and growing as partners through the years, right, since the early 2000s, and it has made a significant difference, right? And if you look back on the membership page, you'll see it doesn't matter if you're located on a coast and right there by the ocean, or you're inland and further away from the ocean. Right? It works wherever anybody is located. And so we really do have a shout out to the partners and a request to grow that. We have a goal, as you can see on the bottom, of having up to 75% AZA participation in 2020, right? So that means taking it from the 107 to 173 partners. So I really ask that you reach out, understand how you can participate, get involved, and become key members of World Oceans Day. It makes such a difference to the program, and it makes such a difference to the results that we bring to the initiatives. So thank you, and I encourage those that aren't members to absolutely join.
Thanks, Jeff. Hey, there was a question that came in, which was the World Oceans Day campaign information going to be available in Spanish?
Yeah, so we have some of the collateral, starting with, for example, the posters in a translated form, Spanish being one of the languages. Now, if there's significant interest, or if we can do that through a partnership, if we can translate additional collaterals, guides, right, other categories of resources, we would be happy to do that. So it's a great question, and saying, yes, we do have some of them available in Spanish and other languages. And carrying that forward is something we'd be very interested in. Right? And it's finding partners that we can work with to ensure that we're not only hitting the target, but the materials are utilized, and how are they utilized, and how can we improve them? So that's
okay.
Yep. And I think that's it. I think next slide was done, right? Yeah. Okay. So yes, together we can.
Oh, sorry, I went through that. Together we can. So I just wanted to get this one up because I know we're getting up against, well, we're a few minutes past 45 minutes. So in case people wanted to screenshot this, so they know how to follow up with us. I just want to make a couple of sort of closing observations. And something that Jeff was talking about, I think a lot of times people think if you live inland, particularly on ocean or coastal issues, their elected officials aren't going to care. Just an anecdote from our visitor engagement projects that we did, Mystic Aquarium and New England Aquarium coordinated theirs. They collected contact cards that they were going to deliver to their members of Congress, thinking it was going to be the usual suspects nearby. They collected cards from 135 congressional districts, from coast to coast, and a lot of them in between. So it shows that these issues resonate with people. And a lot of times it's about making connections, not just for your guests to an issue, but if they then contact a decision maker or their staff, that person may have had a similar experience in a similar place that you're asking them to protect. And it goes from being a personal interest of something they'd like to do to a constituent request. And that's super important, because then that gives them a bit of leverage to say, well, my people are asking me to do this. Even though one person did, a lot of times that's enough. It gives your people that you're engaging, that you can engage at all of these events and on a daily basis, sort of a connection, not just to the issue, to those people, but a connection to a path forward of how they can make a difference. And a lot of times I think when you ask people to do something, it seems so daunting, but if you start with something simple and they get a good result, it's going to carry them forward to do more and more and become more active. And that's why these engagement events, Party for the Planet's tying a bunch together, but also Earth Day, World Oceans Day are really important opportunities to make those connections to people. And what it does is it gives your visitors that you're engaging, and also your staff that's doing the engaging, a sense of being part of a team, which really helps on any sort of campaign, whether it's formal or informal. And so I hope this information today was helpful to you guys who are on. I hope you'll take the opportunity to follow up with any of us that are listed here. And again, I want to just thank the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation for the funding that made this available. There are not any questions right now in the box, but I will hang on, and hopefully the speakers can too, for a few more minutes if somebody wants to ask questions. Otherwise, thank you all for being here today, and we look forward to seeing you again on March 6th.